Hello everyone, and welcome back to the NASCAR History Series. For those who missed the 4th episode about the life of Tim Flock, or any of the previous episodes, I'll leave the links in the description. I also invite you to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss upcoming videos. This 5th episode is about the founder of the most successful NASCAR dynasty in history. There has been a Petty behind the wheel of a NASCAR Cup Series car from the very first race at Charlotte in 1949 all the way until the retirement of Kyle Petty in 2008. Along the way, Richard Petty became the most successful driver ever by amassing 200 career wins, a record that will likely never be broken. Petty Enterprises was also the most successful racing team in NASCAR for decades, and operates to this day as Petty GMS Motorsports. But it all started with Lee Petty. Born in Randleman, North Carolina in 1914. Petty didn't start racing until he was 35 years old. For that first race at Charlotte, he borrowed a neighbor's 1948 Buick Roadmaster. Lee assured the neighbor that the prize money would pay for any damage to the car, but he ended up rolling it during the race and finished in 17th place. His fortunes improved markedly after that, as he finished the season second in points for the championship. He finished in the top 5 in season points for the first 5 years of NASCAR, running a Plymouth almost exclusively for the first 4 years, and a Dodge in 1953. In 1954, Petty started with a Dodge, but all 7 of his wins were in the powerful new Chrysler 300. Even though Herb Thomas won 12 times, Petty earned more points and won his first championship. He continued to be in the top 5 for the next 3 years, and in 1958, Lee Petty won his second championship. The very next February, at the end of the inaugural Daytona 500, Petty was in an Oldsmobile Super 88, running 3 wide across the finish line with Johnny Beauchamp in a Ford Thunderbird and Joe Weatherly in a Chevy. Beauchamp was declared the unofficial winner, but Petty filed a protest because he knew he won. After 3 days of reviewing newsreel footage, Lee was finally declared the official winner of the race. Later in 1959, during the running of the Lakewood 500, Petty's son Richard passed him with less than 10 laps to go and was declared the winner. It was Richard's rookie season, and it would have been his first Cup win, but Lee protested, saying there was a scoring error and his son was 1 lap behind. After review, Lee proved correct and was credited with the win. Petty claimed, "I would have protested my mother if I needed to." Lee Petty won a career-high 11 times in 1959, on his way to being the first driver to win 3 championships. In 1960, Petty had 5 wins and finished the season in 6th place. The remarkable thing about that is that it was his worst finish in 12 years of racing. Unfortunately, it would also be his last full-time season, as a crash during qualifying for the 1961 Daytona 500 left Lee Petty in the hospital for 4 months. He only raced 6 times in the next 3 years, hanging it up for good in 1964. Like many NASCAR teams, Petty Enterprises was truly a family business. Lee founded it with his sons Richard and engineer Maurice Petty. Lee's nephew Dale Inman was Richard's crew chief for many years, whom Richard credits for much of his success. In the year 2000, when Lee Petty was 86 years old, he had the chance to see his great-grandson Adam make his Winston Cup Series debut. Lee died 3 days later, and Adam died in a crash 5 weeks later at the age of 19. Lee Petty leaves us with 54 career wins and 3 championships. His son Richard beat him to the NASCAR Hall of Fame by getting elected to the inaugural class, but Lee took his place by his side 1 year later in 2011.